So, when you think of political inaugurations, they're not usually the kind of event you'd expect to light up any excitement, right? Well, during Donald Trump's inauguration, an unexpected star took center stage. Yep, Barron Trump. And I mean, seriously, how could anyone miss it?
And then I have a very tall son named Barron. Has anyone ever heard of him?
Imagine this. It's his dad's big day, all eyes glued to Donald Trump. But then, something happened. Out of nowhere, and in true show-stealing fashion, Barron managed to capture everyone's attention, leaving folks absolutely buzzing. Well, here's the thing. Barron wasn't just this background character who's been kept away from the limelight. This was the moment he truly, how do I put it, kind of connected with the crowd. With a simple gesture, he had the audience lurking, waiting for his cue, and eventually, they erupted chanting his name. Wow, right? It almost felt like his charisma was like totally stirring up emotions, sparking the idea of a future leader in the making. And hey, do you feel that too, or am I just caught up in the moment? Let me know because there's definitely something happening with Barron here, and it's pretty mesmerizing. If you love keeping up with such electrifying moments and want to continue on this journey with us as they unfold, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Honestly, I'd be over the moon if you did, aiming for 1,000 subscribers by January here, and every click counts to keep this channel growing. Thanks for supporting. Seriously, you are the best. So, Barron Trump's rise in the political sphere is honestly, well, kind of a fascinating saga filled with unexpected twists and those moments that just make you want to stop and think, right? Ever since he made that scene-stealing appearance during his father's inauguration, people have been like totally buzzing about his potential and what lies ahead in his political future. All right, let's take a look back for a second. Remember how, for most of his life, Barron, the youngest of the Trump children, was kept almost out of the public eye, shielded from the political fray his family was notoriously embroiled in.
I have a very tall son named Barron. Has anyone ever heard of him? Thank you.
It was, well, probably a strategic move to let him have some, peace and normalcy in his youth. I mean, if you were in his shoes, you'd probably want the same, right? But then, as the tides turned and things got more intense politically, Barron Trump made his grand entrance. It began during Donald Trump's 2024 re-election campaign, when Barron surprisingly became like a key figure. It was his youthful spirit and energy that caught everyone's attention. People were just drawn to him. In rallies across the nation, Barron emerged not just as Trump's son, but as a voice for the youth. He literally managed to bridge the generational gap, something a lot of older politicians struggle with. And folks, at the end of the day, that's no easy feat. Commentators and political analysts were kind of stunned by Barron's sudden visibility and honestly his ability to sway the younger demographic. His supporters argue that Barron reflects a more modern facet of the Trump legacy, one that appeals to Generation Z. He uses social media with ease, engages directly with followers, and needed to handle himself quite well in public spaces. During the campaign trail, Barron's influence became clear when he started to secure the youth vote, a demographic that can be notoriously difficult to rally.
He knew the youth vote. We won the youth vote by 36 points. And he was saying, Dad, you got to go out and do this one and that one. And we did a lot of them. And he respects them all. He understood them very well. And he said, Dad, you got to go out, do Joe Rogan, do all these guys. And we did. We did, and Joe Rogan was great. They were all great.
His insight into the culture of YouTube, TikTok, and Instagram was leveraged to craft a campaign strategy that felt relatable and fresh. It wasn't long before media outlets started noticing his efforts. I mean, major profiles appeared in news publications across the globe, with headlines like Barron Trump, the unexpected campaign asset, capturing everyone's attention. Now, let's move on a bit to the inauguration day itself, an event that truly marked a defining moment. Barron was no longer the shy, tea-clad child trailing behind his famous father. He stood proud, publicly acknowledged by Donald Trump in the most unmissable way possible. By now, you've probably seen the clip of Donald in his typical grandiose style, gesturing towards Barron as the crowd roared, "Barron, Barron!" It's these moments that, spur conversation about the legacy we're building. And it was, well, his level-headed presence in those moments that showcased something deeper, a maturity shining through which might have surprised some seasoned political pundits. As one astute commentator once noted, Barron wasn't just basking in the limelight. He seemed, understated yet powerful in attitude. Many political experts have drawn comparisons between Barron and other notable figures in the conservative movement. Some even mentioned Elon Musk. Yeah, that's pretty wild, right? While seated next to Musk during an event, Barron, in contrast to Elon's typical animated demeanor, seemed more controlled, poised, an odd yet intriguing dynamic between two individuals at different spectrums of fame and ideology. Now, let's rewind to the early stages of the campaign. You might have thought good old nepotism was allowing Barron to flourish, but seriously, there's more here than meets the eye. Despite public opinion suggesting his involvement was a classic case of family-led favoritism, Barron was proving critics wrong by engaging with policy discussions and meeting allies with the grace of a seasoned diplomat. While the media spotlight sometimes painted a narrative all about his familial connections, Barron was busy carving out his own path, listening and learning from other successful figures in politics. There were quiet, behind-the-scene moments where he displayed an admirable quality, the ability to absorb guidance, hone his skills, and bank on the experience of others to shape his journey. This graceful handshaking incident, maybe you've heard of it, yeah, that one, happened on the Inauguration Day when Barron was captured graciously shaking hands with former rivals like Joe Biden and Kamala Harris. People were like in disbelief. It was such a rare treat to witness the normally partisan stage occasionally punctuated by moments of civility. Viewers online shared that clip en masse, calling it, wait for it, a classy act of diplomacy. Barron perhaps hinted at a future of potential unity, even within the inevitable spite of party division. But this revelation of Barron as a political entity so early in his life, it kind of pissed some people off. Skeptics jumped in, arguing faster than you could switch channels. A political puppet or the next political prodigy? Opinions flew in, some inflamed with envy, others tinged with admiration. Yet for Barron, none of it seemed to matter as he forged ahead. His playful yet strategic way of riding the political wave kept growing. Now, if you take a step back, Barron's support didn't just come from within party lines. Barron's ability to bring together an audience under one roof showed that maybe, just maybe, the Trump era was evolving beyond polarization to eventually plant seeds for potential growth. Well, until politics does what it does best, complicate things. And seriously, at the core, Barron's entry into the political scene isn't just another narrative for analysts to pick apart. It's a signal of evolving storylines we could all fit into, depending on where we stand. Does this mean Barron Trump is the future of American politics? It puts things in perspective, especially when you see someone so young caught in such a colossal public fixture, don't you think? For now, it's more like a case of taking it one step at a time. Critics and fans alike continue to watch his every move. Some want to see him rise, while others, well, they kind of wait for a potential fall. And now, with visions of dynasty talk filling family gatherings, the media swirls in anticipation of whether Barron will pick up the political mantle. Will he carry forward, where Donald Trump started? The speculation doesn't stop, and maybe it's just, well, the beginning. So, what do you think? Could Barron be the next big thing in politics, or is this all a bit too much too soon? Let us know down in the comments below.